Thank you. And while Rob is a fabulous announcer, he is a better basketball coach. So thank you, Coach, for that introduction. Good morning. I'd like to thank Governor Hogan, Lieutenant Governor Rutherford, and welcome everyone to the great city of Baltimore, and specifically to my favorite place in Baltimore, Camden Yards. And Mr. Governor, you are right. There is nothing more in the world that I want to be back in this stadium watching the Orioles beat the Yankees. And we will get there. We will get there, and it will be much warmer. Baltimore City continues to work each and every day to grow our capacity to vaccinate Baltimoreans efficiently and effectively. Vaccines, as you heard, are one of the most critical tools we have for ending this pandemic. Here in Baltimore, we have a plan in place for mass vaccinations, mobile vaccinations, and providing a second doses to those who have received the first round. Recently, we leveraged our partnership with our hospitals to accelerate the vaccination process for our teachers, work with the governor and our state partners to open mass and prepare for mass vaccination sites here in Baltimore City. But we know it is through partnership with the state, our hospital partners, and the community that we will be able to ramp up capacity in the coming weeks and months. We must also recognize the power of information and the importance of credible messengers. We know that since the start of this COVID-19 pandemic, there's been misinformation spread from what should have been credible sources. But with new leadership in place at the federal level and the steady leadership at the state and the city level, I am encouraged by what we are seeing, including greater transparency from the White House around COVID-19, the plan and recent purchase of millions of more vaccines. I am also encouraged by the demand for the vaccine on the part of Baltimoreans and residents across the state of Maryland. It shows responsibility and dedication to the health and safety for those around us. I know that together we are fully prepared and moving swiftly to vaccinate Marylanders as rapidly as the supply allows. My administration here in Baltimore will continue working with Governor Hogan and our state partners to stand up capacity in the city and, of course, across the state. We also will redouble our community engagement and outreach efforts. That means working with community leaders, businesses, faith leaders, and residents to answer questions about the vaccine and address any hesitancy around taking it. As I've stated since the start of this pandemic, I will continue to advocate for the health and well-being of all residents. But my administration remains committed to a coherent, collaborative, and equitable approach to mass vaccination in Baltimore and beyond, particularly for our black and brown communities who have been hit hard by this pandemic and are experiencing a disproportionate amount of deaths from the pandemic. For our older adults who lack the access to online systems that we use for appointments, we have to and we must continue to battle this public health pandemic through a lens of equity. We know that here in Baltimore and across the state and across the country, there has been hesitance in our black and brown communities. We must operate through a lens of understanding that that hesitance is actually based in truth, in fact, on things that happened in the past. And through credible messengers, through things like GoVAX, is how we're going to work with our communities to make sure that folks are doing the right thing, and that's getting vaccinated. I want to thank Governor Hogan for his work on behalf of Marylanders and remain hopeful that we continue to see the data trend downward here in Baltimore City and across Maryland. Thank you.